Take 3,000. Hello and welcome to what is the first ever video on this YouTube channel, and I hope the first of many. Today I'm going to be taking you through an editing tutorial of this photo I took of a TUI Boeing 737-800 back in the summer, from looking like this to looking like this. So this photo was taken back in the summer using a Canon R5 with a 70 to 300mm lens on it. The settings were a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second, an ISO of 400 and an aperture of f5.6, and the focal length was at 123. Why did I find that so satisfying? Today we're going to be using Lightroom Classic to edit this photo, but obviously use whichever software, app, program, whatever it is that you know and love the most to edit your photos, but hopefully this will give you a great insight. Anyway, let's get into it. So, now my personal way of attacking this is, as you can see, it was taken early in the morning, just the sun was just coming up, so it is quite dark. So the first thing I'm going to do is bump the exposure up, and we're going to go for quite a big jump here, 2.35. Now obviously that looks worse, but bear with me on this. Now we brighten it up, we can see it's actually looking quite blue, so just brighten that up a bit so I can see what's going on. We're going to warm it up a little bit because obviously it was sunrise, it was golden hour, it was a nice warm time of day, so we're really going to give that a boost to about 6,000. So we're going to come up like that, 6,072 on the temperature increase to obviously warm the whole image up. Now we've got quite a washed out image, so a little whack of some contrast in there. That's 17 on the contrast, and obviously now we can see that the sky is completely blown out, so we're going to drop the highlights down to right down to sort of minus 80 something. 84 will do the trick. Let's go with 82, that's what I've done on the original. And then the shadows will just give a little bit of an increase just to lift the darkness that had appeared sort of around the main landing gear there. So the next thing I do is I scroll straight down to the bottom. Again, I'm not quite sure how this lines up with other editing softwares, but I go to the calibration tab right at the bottom, and this basically adjusts the colours right at the raw of the photo. So everything you then do to change colours, change the new colours, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't, but anyway, this is sort of a great way of adding your own style to an image. So just working from the top down, we're going to drop the reds sort of more into a pinky hue, like so, down to minus 11 on this particular one. These settings that I'm going to be using today are obviously completely specific to this particular photo, the settings, the lighting conditions on the day, the framing, everything. So obviously the exact numbers that I'm talking about will vary, will change depending on the photo that you've got, the photo that I've got, whatever it is. It's more about the principles, what changing these settings actually does to the image. So yeah, just use your eye, move them in similar directions, and just see what looks best for you. So now we've got the red primary hue down to 11, just makes the reds just that little bit more of a deep pinky hue. Bring the green up to about there, 22, just to give it a bit more of a turquoisey vibe, and then pop that saturation up a little bit just to make that side of things pop. Then this is where the style really comes in, is the blue primary. We're going to drop that down to minus 14. And again, as you can see, as I move that, it starts to bring that lovely golden sunset vibe into our image. And then to compensate that, we're going to really pump up the saturation in this occasion, because also we've obviously got the blue of the TUI as well, which gets affected. So we just look at the basic adjustments that we've done so far. It's quite a stark difference, and actually it probably looks a little bit worse, although you can see the aircraft a bit better. So in our HSL tab, our hue, saturation and luminance area, we're going to make, again, all particular to this image, but obviously we've got a red pinky hue of a sunrise in this case. So we are going to bring the red hue right down to around 34, 35. And again, as you can see, it just gives ever so slight deepness to the reds, which I really like. I don't like it when the reds are too orange, when they shouldn't be orange. And then we'll bring the orange also down to about here, minus 12. And again, that, as you can see, keeps that lovely sky on fire kind of vibe to the sky. And then the blue, again, we're going to shift this slightly, -13, down down towards the turquoise. And again, that just keeps the TUI blue looking nice and TUI blue, so to speak. Cool. And then again, just to improve that blue, well, I think we'll probably just pop that blue saturation up just a little bit. +11, +12. Perfect. And then luminance, we want to pop the yellow up quite a bit, and then you can see what that does. That's just going to bring light into the sky. Luminance boosts the lightness of the colour. So we're going to bring that up to +16, and the same with the blue by quite a bit actually. We're going to go for nearly 30, 29. So as you can see, as we flick between the before and after, still not looking great. But this is, and I can't stress this enough, this is where photo editing comes into its own, and that is with masking. So if you've not played with masking, I couldn't urge you any more to give it a good go. And what I'm going to show you now, these principles will work on any kind of photo, not just plane spotting or aviation based photos, anything. Masking really does transform it. So the first thing we're going to do is going to make the most of Lightroom Classic's AI masking feature. So we're going to click on the masking tab here, and we are going to click sky. Let it detect the sky. So we will then just drop that exposure right down to bring the detail back into that sky. Lovely. And then we will just add a little bit of temperature, +8 or 9, just to add some warmth to that. So as we turn that mask on and off, like, let's just transform the photo. And this isn't the sky replacement, that is the sky from the original photo. We have just brought the detail back into it, because when we adjusted the exposure at the beginning, obviously that adjusts the whole photo. So we're just basically telling Lightroom that actually we don't want that exposure setting to impact the whole image. So now we've brought the detail back in the sky, we can then add another thing that I really like to do is add a gradient mask. So we hit M for mask on the keyboard, and that will bring up a new linear gradient, and we're just going to drag it up from the bottom and feather it out to the top so you don't end up with a stark dark line. And as you can see, it's just going to cover the ground there, and we're going to drop that exposure right down like that to minus, so where do we go, about there. Perfect. So now we can do a before and after, and that is looking a million times better. Now another thing we can do is just add a little bit of, as you can see from the top left, the sky is a lot brighter, so that is the direction that the sun is coming up there. So we can hit M again for a new linear gradient. We're going to drag it down from the top corner and just pop up just a little bit of exposure. As you can see, you can just get that bright light casting in across the top left hand side of the image, and then we're just going to warm that up a little bit more, and that will just give us a light source, a dedicated angle of light from or for the image. In this case, what's meant to be the glorious sunrise that we are watching. We can then create a new mask. We click the mask tab, create a new mask, and again we go back to the AI and we'll see if it will work. We'll go select subject. Nearly worked. But once we've got that selected, that will do. We can just pop up the exposure just a little bit there, just to brighten up the aircraft so it is visible as our subject. Looking at it now, we might just pop up the shadows just a little bit more, just to again lift it. I haven't had any of my tea yet. Lukewarm tea is better than no tea. The last thing we're going to do is we're just going to hit the crop overlay, or push R on the keyboard, and we're just going to reframe it, just so we're sort of sitting on the bottom third there, and it just really just elevates it. So yeah, that is how I would tackle editing that photo of the TUI on its takeoff roll. As you can see, what if you just scroll that through in the camera, you go, oh, it's too dark, underexposed, and actually the right editing, it's not. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have stayed around this long, I hope you've learned something useful. I really want to make a big thing of this YouTube channel going into the new year. So if there's any kind of video that you want to know, whether it's vlogs, whether it's more editing tutorials, whether it's shooting tutorials, whatever it is, stick a comment down below and I can get to work putting those videos together. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.